What's up, party people? Add value to your sales posts. Doesn't matter social media, doesn't matter marketplace ad. Add value. Gary Vaynerchuk, is that his name? Talks a lot about social media. I've been watching him a lot lately. He talks about the interest culture as opposed to likes, and the nature of social media and how to market your, in this case, comic books for the people that watch my YouTube channel, but it could work for people selling anybody. Gary Vaynerchuk, I'm going to put his name in the video. He talks about adding value. Now, this is something I learned from a mentor of mine 20 years ago, that you need to add value. When you make a phone call, why is this valuable to the guy on the other line? It doesn't matter whether your goal is to schedule an appointment or get a credit card and sell a product over the phone. Either way, how do you add value? I'm calling because I want to save you time. I'm calling because I want to schedule an appointment because I know you're a busy person, to talk to you about how this might help you in your life, save money, save time, make things easier, whatever. You're adding value on the smallest thing like a phone call. So I've been doing this with comic books. And so there's a lot of different ways to do an ad, but the mindset has to be, is this add value to people looking at a group? Let's say it's a group. It may not even be a buy-sell group. It might be a regular group. Let's just assume they do allow buy-sell ads. I think I put enough detail in my ads to make it very interesting. I talk about the history. I talk about the census account. I talk about the key status, all the artists. So when someone sees my book on there, they're like, that's a cool book. I've never seen that before. They can read through my ad and they can learn what is the census on that. They can learn why is it a key. If it is a key, they can see all the artists. They can see uh, um, good pictures, not wavy pictures in a plastic bag, because that is for me, because I want to save my time. So the guy who puts a picture of a comic book because he didn't want to take the time to do a real good picture for a client is thinking about himself. Whereas someone who's trying to provide value, a lot of people look at my ads and they have no intention of buying. They just like it. It's a cool book. Oh, that's great. I never knew so-and-so worked on that book. Wow, I didn't realize that was such a low census count. Wow, I didn't realize that was a key, whatever. And I interact with them. The goal isn't just to, hey, don't talk to me unless you're going to buy it. That is how people on eBay operate. That's how people in 7-Elevens that work at the counter, or maybe a comic book store. Maybe the comic book store guys will chat with you a little bit, but mostly they want to sell books. Um, so it doesn't matter what the post is. I try to make it helpful and informative, enjoyable. Someone sees a marketplace ad in a group and they're like, wow, that's a cool picture. So some people don't get that the post I make could add value even if someone's not wanting to buy it. And so, for example, I'm in a couple groups that are local to a certain area, Georgia, North Carolina, Arizona, whatever. And the assumption is, for some people, that if I'm in a group, I need to live in that area. Well, it cost me $5 to ship a slab, so it's not like rocket science. If they want this, do you want to drive 50 miles across the state, 100, 350 miles across the state to do a trade, or do you want to pay $5 and I just ship it to you? If you want to do cash to get a discount, we can do that as well. Do you want referrals? We can do that as well. So living in the state only helps if these are people that are really focused on trading. They want to hook up, but then it's a whole state. You even take a smaller state, like I'm on the West Coast, so my small state is maybe Oregon. That's a large state. That's 8 or 9 hours from east to west. No one's driving that distance to trade a couple small books. They live in Portland. They want to trade with people in Portland. So this desire of you got to live in this state to be in this group, it's not really that important unless you really want to meet up, and then it should be specific to a city. Maybe Dallas Fort Worth has a group that's just to Dallas who want to meet up and trade. But I say that because I go in there, and even if someone doesn't want to buy it, it's just like the retail outlets. I go into a retail outlet, I try on the clothes, I go into a snowboard shop, and ooh, look at this new gear, and then I'm going to go online and buy it. So if they just want to look at my picture, learn about it, and then go find it somewhere cheaper, that's fine with me. I'm happy providing that value. If it gets the more likes, if it gets more interaction, that will still help me to my goal, even if they don't buy from me or have any interest in buying at all. So you're providing value in everything you do with, in this case, comic books, but this applies to any product and online, over the phone, no matter what. Um, and it includes everything. Make sure that, even for me, I'm trying to take pictures of my books, and I have my light over here and it shines on, and even then there's some shadows, so it makes it a little harder to see. So I add a video to my marketplace ads, and that probably kicks up the algorithm some, but I do a video and then I can move it so you can see what it looks like in real life. Because that's what you want to do when you hold a book. I want to try to emulate to the buyer as if they were in person. So I hold up the book and I take a video and I move it around slowly, not shaking it. And that is my video. So you can see it when all the shadows disappear. You can see it, how the light hits it on certain angles. Certain colors really pop. Wow, that signature really pops when you move it around a little bit because it's gold, but it looks gray in some angles. So all those things are value added to make the experience better for the other person, even if he doesn't buy it. So I've recently, because this Gary guy, I'm going to put his name in the bottom, I've recently, and he was really big on stores, so I'm trying to create a shop, online store on TikTok, and I'm also doing Whatnot, and I've been doing Instagram for a little while, and I'm doing X now, and YouTube channel, and every single one is slightly different, and I'm trying to learn about these. But I can provide value in any one of those formats, even though they have different focuses and different rules. I can make it clear. I can put in the hashtags that are relevant to people that want to see it. If you don't take the time to put in the hashtags, the people you want to see it aren't going to see it. Now, is that really part of this video value added? A lot of the people on Instagram just like cool pictures. I get a lot of likes. I've gotten a lot of followers just by putting good, clean pictures of comic books on there. And I do the videos on TikTok, and I've gotten a lot of followers. So I need to get 500 followers to do a business on TikTok or a store. I think my store on Instagram is already set up. Same with my shop on Facebook. So anyways, this idea of value added, I think it needs to be explained because people don't just unassume what it means. And Gary is talking about when you're on social media, it can't just be me, buy my book, buy my book, buy my book. And my marketplace ads might come across that way, but if you look deeper, the good pictures, the good detail, the descriptions, the background, interacting with people. Someone says, hey, I see that book over here for this amount. Is that a good deal? Hey, it sounds like a good deal to me. Yeah, grab it. People send me messages like that all the time that has nothing to do with buying with me. And I enjoy the comic book community. I enjoy interacting with people. And if you don't enjoy it, social media may not be for you. You might just want to do a website. You might just want to do a brick and mortar store. You might just want to do eBay. A lot of people on eBay don't have the time. They're selling the $3 books. They're putting it in a 20-cent envelope with no backing board or no bag maybe. So that's a different business model. It all depends on the kind of product you're selling. It all depends on your clientele, who you're selling to. If you just want to sell readers that are $2 and charge $5 for shipping, and if that's your model and you're making a profit off of shipping, then it's a service. There's a lot of people out there that just want cheap readers, $2, and they don't want to leave their house. And it's easier than going to a bunch of yard sales, although some people love going to yard sales. So how else could you do value added in our world of selling comic books? Make things easy for them. The confused mind says no. If a client has to ask you a question, then you have not made it easy enough for them. Now, granted, you can't answer every question in the world, but there's probably the 5 main questions that you could be answered in the body if you took the time to really think it through. Save them time. They don't have time to send you a message and then you get back, maybe right away, maybe later. So be clear. Try to save them time. So when you put a book for sale, it says, hey, this is available. Why does someone have to say, okay, what's the cost? Oh, the cost is $3,000. Okay, that's too much. Bye. Man, you didn't even say goodbye. It's just stupid interaction then. Just put the price up. And then if it's too much for someone, they just move on. You're saving other people time. That's considered value added. Some people might look at these as marketing tricks. That's not the case. If a cheesy salesperson with commission breath that I've talked about in another video uses these techniques to try to sell more, their attitude will still come out when they write messages. I'll leave voice messages on a lot of IM messaging to make it clear so they can hear the inflection in my voice, so they can tell that I'm not being sarcastic, or when I answer a question directly, it's not angry question. It's just, hey, thanks for the question. Here's the answer. Good luck. And so I leave a lot of voice messages, and most people don't leave voice messages for me. And I don't know if that's and I'm talking about the Facebook Messenger. Um, the one on Meta app through your shop doesn't work really well for voice messages, but the one on Facebook Messenger does. And so there's different ways to communicate, whether it's through your page or through your profile. Make it easy for the client. If they contact me through my page, I'll go around and contact them through my profile so that I can give them more information easier and better, like voice messages, like videos, so I can edit my messages if it's misspelling. I can't edit the messages on the Meta app. So I do these things to make the communication better, to save them time. Um, this can be taken in any walk of life, any product. When you're selling, when you're calling someone, value added. When you ask a question, if I'm asking someone, hey, do you want this book? How can I make this the value added question? When someone says, hey, I got $1,000 to spend, I don't just start blasting $1,000 books down the list. Now, if I only have three, I might put those three on there, but I see people, I just saw someone say, I want to spend $1,000 to $2,000. Okay, let me put a $300 book. Maybe he wants to spend $1,000 aggregate. No, he wants to spend one book, $1,000 to $2,000, and people are just throwing stuff up against the wall to see what works. And I usually will ask him on the post, and I don't see other people doing this, what do you like? Golden Age, Silver Age, I got 80s and 90s, I got moderns, I got signed, I got not signed, I got raw, I got graded. Do you like characters? Do you like certain artists? And then now you're providing him exactly what he wants. Now, he might not have, now you could say, well, he should have asked for it. Yeah, he should have done anything different. But you're talking about being in business and helping provide value to people. Maybe he didn't think about it. Maybe he's driving in a car. Maybe he's like, I just won a lottery. I want to buy $1,000 book now. Show me what you got. And then he'll look at all those notices when he gets home. There's a lot of things that could be going on. Maybe he just didn't think of it. Maybe he leaves it open because he's like, who knows? Maybe I'll be saying I want silver, but I really see a brand new, modern age book that's a rare book for 1,000. Maybe I gravitate toward that because you're putting art. Not everybody is looking for a specific book or a specific title or a specific artist. Sometimes they just see a cover. Maybe they've never even seen it before, and they're like, wow, that's a cool cover. So you don't want to say, well, he should have been clear on what he said. Okay. You could always try to demand more of your clients, but that's not going to work. Provide value. Make their lives easier, give them better information, quicker, concise information. Like I do these videos. I'm not making money off of YouTube ads. I do these videos because I started off doing them because one, I had frequently asked questions, not just from me, but people on Facebook. It's the same question over and over, right? And everybody tries to put their little 3-sentence answer in the post. And there's a lot of nuances to these questions. So there's the exception, and then someone tries to argue, well, that's not always the case, and then it turns into this back and forth argument. And one little video, you could really answer a lot of these frequently asked questions. Why do I do that? It's value added. I'm interacting with people, trying to give them good information. Now, do they want to watch a 15-minute video? Maybe not, and they can stop at any time. Some people might watch it all the way through. It's just like if I was doing a classroom or talking on the phone with someone and they ask me some of these questions. This is how I interact in the video. The videos on YouTube are easy to share the link. I don't have to save space on my computer, on my phone. So the videos have been helpful to answer frequently asked questions. And then in the end, what I found out is it gives me more credibility. So for trading or selling for cash, when you have a YouTube channel and they get to see you interact, they get to see your character, they get to see information about contact information on YouTube, they have a better idea if they want to trust you. And I do a lot of financing, I do a lot of trades, I do a lot of cash deals, and I think that the YouTube presence has helped that. But my point was to just answer frequently asked questions, provide value. So I get back to that. If you can think of unique ways to provide value, I would say I'm probably the I probably pack my books raw or slabbed as good as anybody out there. Now I've seen some good packing, although I think some of the packing that has been, it looks cool. I like the Lost Boys packaging. It looks cool. He's got the pink package around it. He's got the big pool noodles on the side, and it fits in a USPS box. I like all that, except the USPS box is priority, and it's a $15-$20 shipping. So I can ship a slab for $5, and it would be as protected, and never once had an issue with people getting the book, people breaking into the book, it being broken in transit, never once. So some packaging might be really good, but it might be an extra $10 for the buyer. Does the buyer really want to spend the extra $10 to have a bigger box that's a little bit quicker? Sometimes they do. Sometimes they, hey, can you overnight it? I've had people say, can you overnight it? Can you send it quick? Can you do priority? Can you do ground advantage? Whatever. Those are all usually parts of the negotiation. Don't ever assume that someone's going to automatically send you priority just because you think it's like some industry standard. No, shipping is one of the things that's negotiated along with price. So packaging becomes a value added. I don't run out there and tell everybody I package really, really good. Now, maybe I should, but when people get books, they usually say, wow, I got the books. They came quick. They're packed really, really well. And the problem with the stuff that the Lost Boy does with the noodles, I can't really reuse those, because I'm not sending those books in that USPS priority box. So they fit perfect in that box, but I don't use those. I use much smaller boxes. And so I have these big pool noodles stick around, and I can't really use them again. Whereas the materials I use, you could reuse to ship, whether you, I do the cardboard on top and on the bottom of the slab. If I have 2 or 3 slabs, I put cardboard in between it. This is all value added. This is all when I do tracking. I don't only put it in PayPal, but I also take the time to go send it in the instant message or the IM. And so some people will come back, where's my tracking? I put it in your PayPal. Well, he may not know that PayPal keeps that. So I do that as a value added. Hey, the tracking number I gave you on the IM, it's also in the PayPal invoice. And I just do that to make it easier for the client. And some people can say, well, I don't have enough time to do that. I get it. These are all things that take time. And that's why it's value added. It is valuable to your client how you communicate. I do a lot of things with financing, and I take good accounting records, and I send these records, so it's very, very clear how much I owe, when I've paid, how I've paid. And so they get to see all that. So you don't have to track it. So I do financing, I do all the tracking, and they don't have to worry about it. And so my job is to make it easy for buyers. The whole transaction, make it easy, quick, clear, with a great product, packaged well. The cheaper shipping might take a little longer. So if someone's really important about it, but these are expensive books too. $500,000, $1,500 books. I have it's an insurance policy now with Collect Insure. It costs me $3,000 a year to get it, but I don't have to charge insurance on pirate ship. I don't have to try to pass that shipping on to the client. If we're doing a trade, it covers it. It covers books incoming and outgoing. So all the books to CGC are now covered. All the trades are now covered because of Collect Insure, whereas before when you send to CGC, they're not covered because you need a commercial invoice, at least on pirate ship. So there's a lot of these little things that I do or you can do to provide value. And it doesn't matter whether it's a $3 trinket or a $20,000 comic book, you could provide the value in relation to on the types of products. Anyways, hopefully that's helpful. Check out this Gary guy. I'm going to put his name, maybe a link in the video. Happy hunting, guys. Have fun.